Good afternoon, everyone. BC Richfield here, coming to you live from London. It's just gone 4 p.m., and I'm super excited to welcome you all to Congress 2022. We've got an amazing session lined up for you today. A complete legend in the industry in Muro, who's coming on to share a little bit about his journey, who he is, how he sees the market, and just drop an absolute ton of alpha for all of you. All right, guys. So, without further ado, I'm going to welcome the main man to the show. Here he
Hello,
is. How are you doing, brother?
hey Richfield. I'm good, thank you. Thank you.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I'm so stoked to have you on, man. I mean, what a character, what a personality, what a positive guy to learn from. Love your charts. Obviously, as a price action guy, it's pretty hard not to notice your presence on Twitter. So I thought, I'm sure most of our subscribers, users, and people joining us for the first time will know who you are. But I want to hand over the mic to you just for a little bit of an intro so people can get a little bit of feel for Muro and what you're all about.
All right. My name is Murat Çetin, but most people call me Muro because Murat, it's the short form. I'm based in Germany. I live in Germany. I grew up here, but I have Turkish background. My parents are Turkish, and yeah, I
Awesome.
I'm a handcraftsman. I learned car body handcrafting.
Awesome. So that was an interesting transition then from sort of such
Yeah.
a physical job like that, although still creative, I suppose, in a lot of
Most
ways.
people don't notice I'm a car body handcraftsman, and
Hmm.
later on I worked for Mercedes and I learned mechanical engineering too. And I have been there until last year full time at Mercedes for like almost 15 years.
Wow.
And then during the bull market, I went into a full break. I quit the job, but it's a special condition that I have. I can return back whenever I want.
Hmm.
It's currently a break. It's like a break.
Nice, like a little sabbatical, if you like. So you, that's do you know what? That's it's really interesting though, man, because you find a lot of people from very diverse backgrounds getting into trading, right? Now, for myself, it was just under 2 years ago that I left what I was doing full time, which was running two businesses that I had. And that's when I made the decision that I wanted to focus completely on trading, right? I'd been doing it for a number of years, but I felt
Mhm.
like I had this kind of safety net of, my career. And I decided that if I wanted to kind of take this leap, then that I better cut that kind of cord. And like you say, when you've got qualifications, you've got an industry you can always go back into. But it's still a very brave leap to take, or maybe brave is the wrong word, but it's definitely something that a lot of people say to me. Well, it's all right for you. You get to trade full time, or you've got a YouTube channel, or you work for the Nest, and but obviously, it doesn't just happen overnight, right? You put in years and years and years trying to master a craft. And then if you get to a point that you get that prominence, you can take that leap. But what was it for you that made you decide that you wanted to take that step and get away from, because you obviously had a really good career there working for one of the best companies in the world. If
Yeah.
you're into mechanical engineering, there's not many bigger companies than Mercedes, right? So it was a big thing to leave behind. I know you're a family man as well. So, what was it that made you decide to make that move?
Well, it was pretty simple. As you said, I'm a family man, and since I'm in crypto since 2017, I was thinking I am working full time. I cannot do this crypto thing as good as I could do if I was like somebody who has time, who doesn't work. So I did everything I did until 221. I did that while working full time, while having
Wow.
family, while having kids, everything until 221. So it actually worked somehow. But it was but it was stressful, and I thought there's more potential. And I knew I was earning more than I earned at my job with crypto
Mhm.
trading. And I thought if I do this full time, it could be better.
Mm.
Simple.
And for your family as well, right? Because obviously a lot of work goes into to what we do with trading in general, but in terms of the flexibility that it can bring and the focus and what you need to do, of course we work incredibly hard. But when you live this kind of lifestyle, you do have, when needed, that flexibility, right, to be able to allocate your time slightly differently. So was that a big factor for you as well?
Now that you say it, bro, it was actually the main factor
Mm.
because let the money and everything crypto by side.
Hmm.
Um, most of you know I have a son. I share pictures of him,
Yeah.
uh, and everyone's like, "Wow, Muro is a good father. He's a good daddy."
Hmm.
But the truth is, my son needed, yeah, he had special needs. When he was 2 years old, like 2 years ago, yeah, we saw he has all kinds of autistic attributes.
Hmm.
Oh, he didn't react. And when we spoke to him, he was turning around like with the toys,
Hmm.
focusing on only turning. All those attributes that autistic kids have, he had those.
Hmm.
He was hyperactive, running around, not reacting, not listening, and also not talking. So, so I thought, okay, I need to take myself time for this kid, uh, to help him, to make the best possible out of him. And to all parents who have the same situation,
Hmm.
you have a kid with autism or any kind of, that's a big spectrum.
Very
Sometimes you
big.
cannot say with guarantee which what the kid has. So
Hmm.
to all parents who have little kids with such problems, I can only suggest to take your time for that kid, do your best, spend a lot of time with it, give him so much love as much as you can. And I tell you, I had not expected that my son would become like he is now. He made really good progress because really I spend more time with him than a father usually does.
Hmm.
You know, I taught him everything in detail and spoke with him. It was difficult at the
Mm.
beginning because he had no reaction. He didn't listen. He was like in trance. He didn't look at me. But then repeat, 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 and then somehow it worked. And right
That must
now,
have been an amazing feeling, by the way, man. I mean, look, you do. People are all over Twitter. I'm one of them as well. I love seeing pictures of you and your son. And to be honest, for all of
thank
the
you.
amazing advice, people, and everything that's going on in terms of trading, I don't think there's going to be a better takeaway in the whole of Congress than what you just said. You can find a way to spend time with your son, your daughter, your loved ones, people that need your care. Nothing in the world's ever going to be able to replace that, right? That time that you can spend with your son, the connection you have, the way he can learn from you, right? But again, comes back to that point I made earlier. And we're all have different positions in life where we can afford to do certain amounts, and not just financially, but with our time. But it is a choice, right? You have to take that risk. You have to decide to invest in the future of your children, the future of what you want to do. I just think that's a really, really lovely sentiment. For all the amazing stuff on Twitter today, all the stuff kicking up about the trading, just stuff like that. It's what a lot of us do what we do for, right? It's for a better life, not just for us, for the people around us, and to help the lives of other people to go through the process that we've been transformed. Um, I just think that's incredibly touching, man. I think that was
Well
a
said.
beautiful thing to share.
Very well said, man. Exactly. That's how it is. And I can only repeat, guys, don't give up. Do your best. And there are also many special therapies in different countries. I know that in Europe, those kids are being neglected. You
Mm.
don't have much therapies here. They only give you like 1 or 2 hours for
Hmm.
those kids. But in countries like Turkey, they have camps, educational camps for kids, where the kids can stay during a holiday, like
Hmm.
how much you want. You can stay there for like 2 months, but they recommend like 4 weeks. And in those 4 weeks, the kids are getting lessons the whole day, like 8 hours. They
Wow.
are, yes, that was really helpful. I was there twice. Like I was there last year and the year before during the summer. Holidays with the kid, and it was really helpful. And I can only suggest to parents also look for things like that. Don't only in your local area, look for help there. You can find help everywhere in the world, maybe. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah, and do you know what? I suppose one of the other things as well for you and for any parents out there that go through this, there must be that feeling of having that connection with other parents that attend these, to know that your children are in a place where you've got specialists, right? You've got people that are dealing with them, but also, you know, problems are unique to people. It's very hard to relate to other people's problems if you haven't been through a similar journey yourself, right? And as much as people will have sympathy or respect for you because of what you're going through, to be around other people that are going through the same issues, right, that are facing the same challenges, that must like alleviate a little bit of the pressures sometimes, or at least kind of make people not feel like they're so alone.
Exactly.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. What a lovely, lovely way to start this. Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate that. And
Thank
you
you
know
too.
what? Just for everybody that sees this, just really, really take heart in that. Whether it's your children, whatever it is, your loved ones, your brothers, sisters, your mum, your dad, take the time. Find out, we can all get kind of trapped in our little bubble here, right? And Europe, we all think we're the gateway to the world and that everything's all kicking off. And I'm here in central London, and we get people in the far reaches of the world that get treated a lot better in certain areas. So definitely broaden your horizons in that respect. So thank you, brother. That was amazing. And now, I mean,
No
blown away
problem.
by the alpha already. We haven't even opened a chart, right? So one of the things that I wanted to speak to you about, mate, was kind of your view on the market, how you analyze the market, right? You're a price action trader, you're someone that's known for incredible accuracy. You're very open as well, which is another thing that's very easy to respect about you. You share your opinions, you share a lot of your trade ideas. And especially lately, and we're going to go into this a bit more detail later on, but you said something recently in one of your tweets about the changing dynamics of the market, which we'll, like I said, we'll cover a bit later. But in a lead into this, I just kind of want our viewers to kind of get a feeling for how you kind of view the market, and by that I mean, your kind of like top down approach for what you're looking for, how you're holding your bias, and then what you're looking for on a daily or weekly basis in terms of kind of like trade opportunities. So,
Mhm.
should we share your screen out and
Yeah,
let you have a little talk with the folks?
of course, man. Let's do it. So basically, bro, what I do is, and you said I shared this recently, but actually I was sharing things like this more often in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Um, market updates in which I tell people what kind of market cycle we have right now,
Mm-hmm.
because it's all about either Bitcoin is performing well or the altcoins. And when the altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin, then logically the BTC pairs go up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and we have charts for that to see things like that. Let me open up this one. Yeah. So, my bro, this is the, maybe I can make it full screen here. Yeah, looks better.
Nice.
So, this is basically the altcoin total BTC pair chart. And I have a hanger right now. Hold on. A little technical issue. I don't know what it is. My Let me reload the website real quick. Could you see that? My
Yeah, I can see it, man. It was having a little bit of a lag, wasn't it? I think maybe something to do with the weather. I don't know what it is with you guys, but it is grim here in London today. High winds, lots of rain, and even though they promised us fiber optic broadband, I'm not sure.
Okay, everyone listen. Look, the market has different, how should I say, phases. Sometimes Bitcoin is performing really good, like in a bull run, and during that time, the altcoins are not performing at as good as Bitcoin. Logically, in USD value, they might go up a little bit, but they go down in BTC value. That's why it's better to hold Bitcoin during those phases. And to show you what I mean, I have now opened up the total BTC altcoin chart. So what I do is when I look at this chart and I see a reversal, like my bro, can you see like this bearish engulfing here?
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So this is a reversal pattern, right? We have a
Mhm.
bearish engulfing here. And this is also some type of bearish engulfing
You've
here
got
as
an
well.
outside day there as well, haven't you? At that other one at the top, right? So, like in
Yeah,
terms of the
yeah,
engulfing nature, reversal candle, clear as day.
exactly, exactly. And then we have like here we have a bullish engulfing,
Hmm.
also a reversal pattern. Here is the bearish engulfing. So to the viewers who are new, maybe who don't know what a bullish or bearish engulfing is,
Mhm.
that's a reversal pattern, guys. So when you have like a market trending up and you have a reversal pattern, then you can assume that the market will reverse and go the other direction. So I have shown you these bullish and bearish engulfings because all of these that you can see here, I have basically called on Twitter that we now have a PC season or that we are going to have an alt season. So what I did is, for example, I looked here, I saw this bullish engulfing, and I told people, look, guys, we have a strong weekly candle, and I think altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin. It's time to focus on BTC pairs, trade altcoins. So what then happened is obvious. Like here from May 2020, that was the summer 2020, we had the alt season, the big one,
Yeah.
to September, right? And
Hmm.
then I saw this bearish engulfing, which felt the first one after this whole season, the first bearish engulfing. Can you see this? Is
Yeah, see it perfectly, man.
And on Twitter, then I shared that, okay, guys, we have a bearish formation now. I think alt season is coming to an end.
Hmm.
Take profit and so on, right? And what happened is the BTC pair altcoins went then down. So this is basically it. And then in early 2021, I shared explicitly this bullish candle and I said, I have been waiting for this, guys.
Hmm.
I have been waiting for this. And called the biggest alt season ever. And this is where I became famous, where I said everything will pump. And here in March, people were trying to predict Bitcoin. Will it go up? Will it go down? And I
Hmm.
said it will go sideways.
Hmm.
It simply go sideways, and we are going to have the biggest alt season ever. So when the price was here with the altcoins, on this chart, um, I predicted. Maybe it sounds like I am, how should I say, praising myself or so.
No,
Uh,
it's the facts, brother. I was there. I was there for the calls. I saw the calls. I can't stop smiling because something that I always say to people when they come onto these things is often people look for things to be too technical or people are looking for a magic bullet or something, right? And I think people very often overlook the key fundamentals of price action. Bearish engulfings, inside bar patterns, outside days, right? The
mhm,
higher the time frame, the more weight these things have, right? And at the same time, there's no harm explaining it. I mean, I was there. I saw you make the calls. I saw your viewer numbers shoot up from the tens of thousands into the hundreds of thousands, right? Not because
yeah.
people were looking for a magic bullet, but because you were calling all these things accurately. And I just think, before I let you continue, just a word that I'd like to share with our viewers is, really look at this, right? Look at this top down, how you're looking at the higher time frames to play into your lower time frame bias. A lot of questions you see where people will say, how did you manage to call that? Or how did you manage to call that season or that season? Well, you're talking about high time frame analysis, but you're looking very often at very, very simple chart reversal patterns, right? And those things give you clear invalidations as well. So, yeah, mate, I'm loving it. And please, there's nothing self fulfilling about this at all. It is what it is. And I think everyone's getting a lot of value, as you can see by the comments that are pinging off left, right, and centre.
Yeah, I just said that. Thank you, by the way. Really kind words. Uh,
You're welcome, bro.
I said that maybe it sounds like I'm praising myself, but I'm saying it in this way that I predicted all this to actually tell people that it's possible to predict
Hmm.
such things. So
Hmm.
you can't say we are going to have an alt season or Bitcoin is going to outperform. You can't say things like that when you have, obvious, conditions in the market. And here in March, I predicted, I predicted that the alt season will continue and that we likely are going to see the highs. And I said everything will pump. And people, love that thing when I said everything will pump.
I mean, they loved the fact even more that it just mooned, didn't it? I mean, you said it,
Yeah,
and then literally the market just like someone set it on fire.
man, this was crazy. This
Yeah.
was more than I had expected because in real time, when you saw all those altcoins doing 100x, 1000x,
Mm.
it's just mind blowing, isn't it? I mean, we have been there in 2017 too, but I don't know this one
Yeah,
for
this
me
was something
personally.
else. Yeah, yeah.
this was a lot more, man. This was
Mm.
definitely much crazier than that.
Yeah, there was something mental about this one, was it? Just the I think maybe with the more people being adopted into the space, the fact that people had seen that first one when everyone dismissed it, the fact that they saw it run really hot. And I think a lot of people really got into this a bit later, right? But I think, man, people that got into this early, they made ridiculous gains, right? Life changing stuff.
Yes. One last thing, one last information
Mm.
for this chart. So I said that this is the altcoin total BTC pair chart. So
Hmm.
all the altcoins that we have, the BTC pairs. So this is like an index for them,
Hmm.
for the majority of them. Um, this is basically the opposite of the Bitcoin dominance. So
Hmm.
when I open up the Bitcoin dominance chart, like let me do it like this: BTCD. Nope. Bitcoin dominance. Yeah. Weekly time frame. Yeah, bro. Um. Okay. Okay. I got it.
Nice, nice. Yeah, we got that nice and clear there, man.
So what you see here is what I had explained earlier. This is the BTC pair total chart, and this
Hmm.
is the BTC dominance. Logically, it's the opposite of that one.
Hmm.
You can turn this like a mirror around, and
Hmm.
you get the same thing. Because when altcoins are performing good,
Hmm.
and then the Bitcoin dominance is going down. Logically, you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. A counter correlated, right? Like, I know it swings in and out of it, but people have been looking at your risk assets versus the DXY at the moment. DXY is running hot, risk assets are pulling back. Similar kind of thing condensed with this, except this obviously has a straight, direct correlation, unlike the kind of dips in and out of DXY.
exactly. So you can actually use the Bitcoin dominance chart to do that same thing, which I had done here with the bullish and bearish engulfing candles. You can
Hmm.
do the same thing on the Bitcoin dominance chart to, yeah, to get an idea what kind of market situation we are going to have in the
Hmm.
next weeks. So while we are at it, let me quickly look. I haven't checked it in a while, to be honest. Let's just look what I can see here. Maybe, yeah, maybe there's something interesting, right?
No, that's it. Tune in, people. Keep, pay attention here. Live alpha coming at you direct.
So yeah, I think my last prediction, I said that we can go down to these lows,
Hmm.
and yeah, there's a bit more room to the downside, like to
Hmm.
here. Currently, I don't see any obvious. I don't see any obvious candle. Like we had a bullish engulfing here, but
Hmm.
price rallied a bit. Then we had a bearish engulfing. You see this?
Huge one, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, a huge bearish engulfing. So currently it's like going sideways. It could reverse, but also it could go down to here, right?
Hmm.
So nothing really, yeah, obvious. So, but when we come down to here, if we come down to here and then form a bullish engulfing,
Hmm.
that would be a good sign for altcoins to outperform Bitcoin, right?
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think something else that should be a real key takeaway for viewers here is the way that you've run through that chart, right? You're not forcing an opinion. You're not forcing a bias on this market, right? What you know is you've got your levels marked out. You've got your key areas of interest. You know what you're looking for. Unless you see that reversal pattern form, or unless you see those key areas get interacted with and then your reversal pattern form, you're not trying to force a narrative onto this market, right? What you're saying is, look, here's my areas of interest. This is what I want to see. I'm going to wait for these things to play out. And when they play out, I'm going to be ready for them.
Always. Yes.
Yeah, really, really key thing for people. I think, trading's one of those things. It's exciting. It draws people in a lot. People see the appeal of the money, the influencers and stuff in the space, and they're so quick to want to trade, to want to throw their money into trading and sometimes throw their money, away, unfortunately. But I think one of the things that you see with just the biggest, the best, the most consistent traders is that they've got a plan and they trade that plan. Yeah. They're not trying to find ways to retrofit their narrative or backwards rationalize something. You've got a plan, you've got a strategy. Wait for that strategy to trigger, and then make sure you're ready for it.
Exactly. No trigger, no trade.
100%.
Very simple. Yeah, I do the same, man. I think the best trades are those that come to you,
Hmm.
that jump straight into your face, like when
Hmm.
there's a big sweep after a sweep, where
Hmm.
you maybe wanted to enter a trade, but you didn't. You waited a bit more, and then there is the real thing. It just jumps straight into your eyes, and you say, "Okay, this is obvious. Price
Hmm.
will reverse here." And
Hmm.
then you also have the conviction and the balls to enter that trade. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? It's not like, hmm, will it maybe,
Hmm.
I don't know. It's not like that. You have the conviction. You say, okay, this is it. This must be it. And for me personally, mostly when I have that strong conviction, when
Hmm.
I have those trades that come straight to me, and
Hmm.
those are the best trades. So this is what
100%, man. I mean, 100%. And I think, you hit the nail on the head saying that people want to chase these things down, wait, be patient, right?
exactly.
Patience is such a big, big thing in trading. And to lean on another point you said that I think is so important, I won't go too depth because Jimmy, our in-house psychologist, will murder me for trying to give psychological advice, right? But, from a point of positivity, right? If you're going into trades chasing things that don't hit your system, negatively, those losses impact you, right? And what it does is it breeds this kind of feeling of uncertainty. And the problem is, if you do that, you get in that mindset, you breed that uncertainty, and then you start missing the obvious trades, right? And then when you miss the obvious trades, it always brings that risk that you're going to FOMO in, right? Or you're going to trade, or you're going to revenge trade, right? And I think patience is one of the hardest things to really, really develop and really be true to yourself about. But when you do, like you say, those trades that come along sometimes, they slap you in the face, right? And you think, well, hang on, if I review my losers or ones I've not done so well on, the amount of time it's often human error or, not waiting for the trigger or just kind of doing something a little bit presumptuous. I think that's a really, really important thing, man. So really, really good emphasis, and something I think people need to focus on is, just taking your time, stepping back from it, making sure you understand your system, your triggers, right? Then when you understand that, the trades come to you, right? You're not chasing these things. And for me, I think, that's really, really well put, man.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
it. Now we got Muro on tour, man. This is it. Now we're doing a cribs kind of thing,
Yeah, man, it's just I want to smoke one. I'm still smoking. It's a last bad habit that I have. Really,
No,
really.
we all need at least one bad habit, right? As a vent, I try and get my 6, 7 bad habits, down to 4 or 5 at least by the time we come around to New Year, and then I know I've got a little bit of room for some other bad habits to develop throughout the year as well. So look, man, I've something you posted on Twitter the other day that I thought was really, really cool, and we had a chat about it internally. Some of the members mentioned it as well that we've got here, and they were talking about a post that you put out talking about the changing market conditions that we face. Yeah, how people need to sort of view the market slightly differently, to be aware of the seasonality, to be aware of the cycles that we're in as well. And like you just hit upon there, looking at those charts, knowing when, knowing the key high time frame things that you're watching for. Um, I suppose some of the biggest developments that you get is the bull market to the bear market, obviously trending markets to ranging markets as well. But obviously, in conditions like we've got at the moment, where the market can be very news driven because volume volatility is low, liquidity is low. Um, Now, do you have an approach for that? So, for example, you have some traders, for example, who will move and focus on lower time frames, to really try and capture those moves. Some real sort of old school legends like SZ and people like that, for example, and Trader Dank, who we've got on shortly as well. They focus on really scalping those low time frame charts. But I've always seen you as a real kind of master of the swing trading as well, right? So how do you kind of factor that in? How do you look at that when you have these changing market conditions, especially like we've got now?
Yeah, shout out to SZ and Trader Dank.
Damn
Uh,
right, yeah.
Most definitely legends and very good in range trading.
Hmm.
So the thing is, your question can be answered with one simple thing, man. Either the market rallies or it ranges.
Mhm.
So I can trade both. When the market rallies, a rally can be up or down. A down move is
Mhm.
also a rally.
Mhm.
Um, then the best thing is just to yeah, hold the position as good as you can. This is not easy, but if you have targets, then it makes it a bit easier.
Mhm,
Um, Other than that, we have consolidations, right?
mhm,
During it can be during rallies, a consolidation like a break and then it continues, or
mhm,
a reversal consolidation. So either a continuation, like prices going down and then consolidates and then a reversal can happen,
mhm,
or it comes down, consolidates and goes further down. It's like it's called redistribution, I think.
mhm. Yep, yep, absolutely. So with that, are you someone that so for someone like me personally, when I'm looking at those types of moves, you're looking if you're using sort of like your pennants or you call bear flags, bull flags, bits and pieces like that. Is that are you monitoring those trend lines? Are you looking for your breakdown and retests, for example, like when you have those pennants and you have those flag situations?
I basically trade mostly order flow. I mean,
Hmm.
a range is really easy, man. You make
Hmm.
one high or one low,
Hmm.
then when the price reverses,
Hmm.
you know that is the first low or the first high of the range. I already expect the range to form.
Hmm.
Many times on Twitter, also, I have, after the price rallied, I have predicted a consolidation, a rally,
Hmm.
like an imaginary range that would form, in my opinion, and it happened many times.
Hmm.
Uh,
What are
it's
you looking for there, Muro? What are you looking for when you say you're predicting a consolidation? So, obviously, sometimes if you have a really, really big dump, you can expect a bit of a retrace, price reaching back up to fill some inefficiencies or whatever. But something you do really, really well, actually, I've seen it a number of times on Twitter, is after we've had a certain leg of price action, and you'll come out and people will be saying, "Where are we going? We up, we down from here?" And you're like, "I think price consolidates here." And I've always been really interested to kind of get your input and say, "Okay, is it because we're coming into a certain price level? Is it because we're running lows or highs, or purely because we've had this big kind of expansive move and you're expecting redistribution?"
um, it was more than one question.
Or
Now,
none of the above?
so the price moves because of the orders. When there are more buy orders than sell orders,
Hmm.
then the price goes up.
Hmm.
I am saying this because I know you know it, bro, but many of the uh, beginners maybe don't know this. The price in the market moves because of the amount of orders that are in the market. So when there are more buy orders across all exchanges and order books,
Hmm.
when there are more buy orders, the price will go up because there's more demand than
Hmm.
supply, right?
Yeah,
So the
simple
price goes
supply and
up.
demand, right? To go back to real basics for people, and I won't share one of my tremendously bad analogies with you that I give people about fruit vendors and stuff. But like any situation, right? If you've got an oversupply of something, then it's got to match the demand. If you've got an over demand for something, the supply is too short. You're driving that up, right? So, yeah, continue. How do you view that then order flow, or what are you using to monitor it?
So yeah, exactly. And when there are more sell orders, then the price obviously goes down. Sometimes you have like a consolidation. It's when both buy and sell orders are equal. This usually happens because big guys, big traders, they need to do this. They
Hmm.
need to form these consolidations to get their orders filled.
Hmm.
Obviously, they are trading with much bigger size than we do,
Hmm.
and they cannot get their orders filled in one go.
Hmm.
So what they do is they bring the price back down to their initial entry,
Hmm.
and then let me show you on one point what I mean. Like, yeah, here,
So is this a little bit like the crossover you would say, sort of when you're looking at the accumulation, manipulation, distribution, like your kind of, for want of a better term, your power of three thinking, where you're talking about the consolidation point, the build up of the orders, institutional money flow coming in, being able to get their orders filled before the market then obviously makes a pretty sharp move away.
exactly, man. The thing is, there are obviously big traders, right? The
Mm.
big traders trade with much bigger size than we do. So
Hmm.
what they do is when they buy, the price goes up. They cannot get all their orders filled because they consume all the buy orders in the order books. The
Hmm.
price goes up. So what they then do is, because they need more, they take a bit profit off from their longs. That
Hmm.
already causes a reversal, and then a chain reaction happens. People get stopped out. Those who
Hmm.
bought here, the normal retail traders, um, and people start to sell as well. And when the price comes down to their initial entry, like
Hmm.
here, you see this is you have many equal lows here.
Hmm.
So they buy again, right? So here they did it. They buy again. Then they repeat that. They take some profit off, bring the price back down to their entry. And then when a lot of people with them go long buy, what
Hmm.
they also do is they stop those guys out. Then they have a lot of more
Hmm.
obvious sellers.
Yeah,
They
they're
can
buying up all the liquidity, aren't they? Like we were talking about earlier, supply and demand, right? People often ask me a lot, very similar to how I trade, right? People are saying to me, but hang on, look, they're pushing price down. Surely that's triggering selling stop losses, right? Because
exactly.
again, just to reiterate for people, that are new to the stream, if you're opening a long position, your stop loss is a sell order, right? And the opposite is true if you're shorting. Now, people
Mhm.
say to me, but hang on, if you're just pushing price down, if they're pushing price down, these institutions, these institutional buyers, aren't they just encouraging selling? And what people need to realize is, no, what they're doing is they're creating all these sell orders because they need all those sell orders to fill their buy orders, right? They're
Exactly.
creating the sell side liquidity to gobble it up. And then you get those big, expansive moves when that happens. They've convinced the whole world it's over, everything's going down. They fill those orders, and by the time price takes off, as we can see on your chart here, gives
Mhm.
people very little opportunity to get back in.
Exactly. What most people don't know is, most traders actually don't know is that when big guys are in sell trades, are in shorts,
Mm,
what they need to close their positions, I mean, to take profit,
mm,
is not, they don't need buyers.
mhm,
People think they need somebody to sell their positions, but it's not like that. They need sellers.
mhm,
Because to close the short position, you need to use the opposite order, like a
mhm.
buy order, right? So when
Absolutely.
some big guy is short here, what
Mhm,
he needs is a lot of people selling.
mhm,
He needs sell orders so he can close his huge, short position
mhm,
using the opposite side's buy orders. So
mhm,
this is obviously what happened here. So maybe this first one was profit taking,
mhm,
maybe this was profit taking too, but then accumulation happens. Big
mhm,
guys are buying here. This is obvious. You have a few lows at similar price, and this is basically all the time.
mhm,
Consolidation is always like this.
mhm,
Sometimes it's not perfect. You don't have perfect highs or lows,
mhm,
but in general, let me use this one maybe. So in all time frames, you have like these consolidations where the price makes 3 or 4, like here a big one,
mhm,
highs and lows at similar price. You know what I'm saying? So this is
mhm,
like the big guys filling their orders for the move that they are planning to initiate, either
mhm,
up or down. You know, and you have this in all time frames. like
mhm.
even here in this small thing where you don't see it, if I zoom in, if I zoom in the 5 minute time frame, let's do it. Actually, let's
Mm.
do it.
Yeah, because people also, something people forget or maybe aren't exposed to is the fractal nature of price, right? So
Exactly.
if you removed the time frame off of your charts and shared a chart from a zoomed in perspective, very difficult from someone to know if it's a weekly chart or a 1 minute chart, right? You see the same way that price moves, that organic movement of price, the distribution or redistribution, the consolidation, right? So again, I think this is something that people can learn a lot from when you're looking at your high time frames and you're decanting that down into your lower time frames, right? As if you're looking at a price leg, like a run, and on a higher time frame, it looks like you haven't got anywhere to get in. Well, within those runs, you have your lower time frame consolidations that gift you those opportunities to get into those runs, right? Don't FOMO in on the big moves. Wait for price to consolidate, for larger buyers to come into the market, and then place your orders on the side of the institutional buyers.
Yeah. I wanted to zoom in here in a 1 minute time frame, but somehow didn't.
Maybe too much data.
Yeah, not important. I think people get what I mean.
Mm,
It's it's a fractal.
hmm
These consolidations, these ranges where you have three or four highs and lows at similar prices, they are fractals.
hmm
You have them in all time frames. Like um, when you zoom in here at one high, you also have that in the ultra small time frame here,
hmm
and then you also have that here and here. You know, that's basically it. These are consolidations. So this as well, it doesn't always have to be horizontal perfect. You know,
No, you've got your rising wedges, haven't you? Falling wedges, flag patterns, bits and pieces like that. But I think the key takeaway from that, and we had Axel Kaibar on the show earlier today, legendary CMT with his chart patterns, and it's amazing to listen to his kind of input on this. But basically, the long and short of it is, when you're watching price consolidate, it's compressing. You think of it like pressure, right? It's
yeah,
building itself up, ready for a bigger move. So you want to study those areas, look how price moves, and like you just said so perfectly, you're talking about creating the ideal situation for institutional or big money buyers to be able to step in, and they need big orders filled, big orders, the kind of orders that they can't afford to take slippage on, because the slippage when you're talking about orders of that size is huge, right? So
exactly.
yeah, no, I think it's very, very interesting. Like tons and tons of alpha in this, guys. If you haven't already, we've got Muro's details on the stream. Make sure you're following him, please. And don't miss out. Don't miss out on what he brings on a daily basis.
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel. You can also check that content there. I think I'm going to update my channel because the content there is old. It's like 2 years old, 2 or 3 years, and
Awesome.
the market has changed. So I have to update a few things. It's mainly about supply and demand, and
hmm
supply and demand trading worked really good on Bitcoin before the recent bull market.
Yeah,
But
it did.
after the bull market, it started to not work that good anymore because simply because of the players. More institutions joined and
hmm
more manipulation happened. Uh,
hmm
but those supply and demand things that I'm teaching, you can use them very well in forex um,
hmm
and on Bitcoin too, but not as good as back in the days when I taught them. So I
mm
have to update them. There are just a few fine tunings to be made. Um,
Awesome. And then you're going to release all that. I'm guessing you make people aware of it on Twitter, right? So
yeah, man. I just
let's make sure we've got Muro's Twitter so everyone can get that followed, guys. Make sure you follow him. And man, I'd love to see you back on the video content. I think that would be something special.
thank you. Yeah, definitely, man. It would be great. I also started a partnership with Bybit. I announced that.
Awesome.
So I'm motivated. I'm looking to have a long-term partnership with
hmm
Bybit. I really love the exchange, man. Because
Yeah, we've got a lot of supporters of Bybit here. We, in fact, just had the CEO Ben on this morning, actually talking about them, and obviously talking about what the nature of what's happened to
yeah,
exchanges. But we've got a lot of Bybit traders here, and yeah, a magnificent exchange. Someone that holds themselves in the areas of transparency, as we saw earlier on the show. And actually, one thing I've always really loved: a very intuitive exchange, one with a really good user experience when you're on there. They don't hide things away. It's very obvious. It's very clean. It's very quick.
exactly. That's exactly the reason why I shilled Bybit from the beginning, like from
Mhm.
2019. I saw that they have those functions that non-exchange had. Nobody had those functions. Like you get asked where you want to set your stop loss and take profit
Mhm.
before you open before you set your initial order, before you open the trade,
Mm,
things
yeah,
like that.
100%. They were one of the first people as well, I remember, that had the ability, when you had your stop loss, your open order or your limit order, you could move it via the slider on the chart, right? I remember
Exactly.
yeah, so like the horizontal line. So if you got your stop loss or you wanted to move it, you can just grab it on the chart, right? Move it up and down. They were very quick with their trading view integration as well,
Yeah,
where even some of the bigger platforms, you're having to go into the trade, you're having to put in the decimal place stop that you want to change, or you're having to cancel orders and move them around. Just wasn't very intuitive. Where Bybit, I feel, have always really been at the forefront with that, with their user experience.
exactly. And it is still up to date. I mean, the exchange is working very smooth, very fast, no problems. It's stable.
hmm
So this is why I accepted the partnership, and I'm really looking forward to work with Bybit and release more content because
Mm.
now I have no excuses anymore. I accept partnership, and I have to deliver content, to get paid. And
Awesome, mate. I love that. So you put extra pressure on yourself to be like, you know what? I'm
yeah,
not just leaving this down to me anymore, right? I'm going to take on a good partner who's going to push me along in life and make sure I get this content out there.
exactly. Sometimes you got to do that, to push
Man,
yourself.
and not just in trading, right? You got to push yourself in all aspects of life. And the same thing goes again, finding good partners, finding good people to share that journey with, right? If you surround yourself with good people, then life does present you some really good opportunities, I find.
Yes. So I am looking at the Bitcoin chart right now here,
Hmm.
my friend.
Love it.
We have here demand zone, of course. Price is forming a little consolidation on that demand zone.
Hmm.
I actually expected this one to get swept.
I did
This,
as well, actually. I was surprised, but very surprised that it didn't.
yeah, because we have a lower low. I mean, a low that's lower than that here already,
Hmm.
right? So when you have then a few lows, usually this one, at least this one gets swept.
Mm.
Like it comes down to this.
Yeah,
But
I'm surprised. It makes you think there might be a little bit of a move. I was thinking there might still be a move lower to clear that out. I mean, there was obviously a lot of liquidity sat between the kind of relative equal lows that we had before. There were a couple of points, but it purged through them so aggressively. It seemed for all the world that we were going to go down and take out those lows.
yes, but currently I'm waiting. I don't want to rush. I don't want to
Hmm.
FOMO prices. I mean, for spot Bitcoin,
Hmm.
ECA, and so on, it's not my thing.
Mm.
It's not the way I do it. I rather wait for a price to show something
Hmm.
obvious. Either it goes down when I see it's cheaper, then I
Hmm.
will buy again.
Hmm.
I think that might be the bottom. Currently, I don't think this is a bottom. I don't. I just don't have the feeling.
Hmm.
But if it is, then it will show itself. The
Hmm.
price will find support here and rally. Then I can still get in later.
Mm. Yeah,
On a
I think
retest.
that's another important thing, though, isn't it? Again, so many people kind of obsess themselves on picking tops and bottoms. And I think, especially crypto Twitter a few years ago, became quite obsessed with this idea of people shouting that they pick the exact top or pick the exact bottom. When actually, I think all of the professional traders I know will admit to you very openly that either the best trades or certainly the way that they trade typically is wait for the market to show its hand in some respect, right?
Mhm.
Because you can just lose so many times in the row trying to pick tops and bottoms because you've got no confirmation. Now, that's not to say waiting for some kind of confirmation doesn't reverse on you. You don't get trapped on the wrong side of a liquidity grab or a manipulation. Of course not. But I think it's important we stay with our tried and tested methods, right? And like you said there, if the market's not showing you it's ready yet, then the risk is just too high, right, to kind of throw yourself into that scenario. So you know what you want to wait for, you know what you're looking for. And I think you can lead onto it perfectly here. But for you, in your mind, I suppose you're now thinking, look, those lows look very tempting, right? Again, drawing those trend lines up, we can see we've lost a key trend line there. We look like we've got a perfect retest. Maybe that liquidity at the low is looking like it's ready for a purge now. And again, when we see that reaction from the lows, probably gives us a little bit more of a clearer idea of what might be coming next.
Yeah, that's why I'm waiting. I'm more comfortable waiting right now.
Hmm.
Um, I shorted actually here. I sold 69. I shared that on Twitter as well, but it took so long. It killed my patience. I took profit when it finally dropped a bit. I took profit.
Nice. I
So
think it's tricky at the moment as well, isn't it? I know market conditions are always tricky, but like we spoke about earlier, you look at the difference from a few years ago, supply and demand type trading
yeah.
in this space, looking at your bull flags, your pennants, things of those, they're just a massive buy signal, right? I mean, at the moment, the market's kind of getting chopped left, right, and center, pretty illiquid. We've got low volatility, low volume. We've obviously had big impacting news events as well. But always in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, as more and more people start to lose hope, more and more people start moving away from this, calling it a scam, blah, blah, blah. You
Mhm.
just, this for the time you really want to make sure you're super sharp, right? Because as you get into those kind of conditions, when the market does go, as we discussed, often it doesn't give you tons of really good buying opportunities to get back in, right? So you have to take these extended bear markets, these extended periods of negativity in the space, and still make sure that you're sharp and you're ready to act when the time comes.
Yes, my friend. That's how it is. That's how it
Mm.
is. So my approach right now for the market is just wait.
Hmm.
Wait, let the market decide what it's going to do. Bitcoin
Hmm.
drops lower to like 14 or 12K, what most people expect.
Hmm.
Nice, then we buy there.
Hmm.
And after that, price will obviously bounce.
Hmm.
And if it does that, then let's go back to to that altcoin chart
Hmm.
here. It would be nice. It would be really nice, in my opinion. Um, yeah, if we can continue. Hold on. This is the market cap, Bitcoin dominance.
Hmm.
So actually, it looks like no, no, yeah, it looks like more Bitcoin could rally, not the altcoins,
Hmm.
right? Because this is the Bitcoin dominance. It
Yeah,
is close to bottom, and yeah, it's actually matching with the Bitcoin chart, right?
it is. Yeah, very, very similar. Very similar. So
Bitcoin,
again, you've got confluence there from two different areas you're looking at: the strength of Bitcoin on the dominance chart, combined with the Bitcoin chart, and both of them are kind of pointing to the idea that there could be this further retraction down, right, before it then recovers and move forward. Now, it doesn't have to happen like that. Of course, it doesn't. But when you look at stuff like that and you have that confluence, it's something that's really, really important to consider.
yes. So that would be great. Then we would have a Bitcoin rally. And
Hmm.
when we have a Bitcoin rally, then and it slows down and goes for a consolidation, usually what happens is that the altcoins catch up, right?
Hmm. Start
Uh,
to pop off, yeah.
yes, and those times are usually fun times. It's cool to trade altcoins. So I'm just waiting for things like that. I'm in no rush, and I
Hmm.
suggest to all beginners here right now, you should also not rush. You came here, you are watching this video, you came on Twitter, you came all the way to here. Then
Hmm.
it means that you are going to stay here for a longer time. You
Hmm.
already started this crypto thing, and you are interested to learn and stuff like that. It means that you're going to stay here. So
Hmm.
there's no need to rush, because if you rush, you're probably going to lose, because most people lose. Statistically,
Hmm.
90%, more than 90% of people lose.
Hmm.
So to belong to the 5% winners,
Hmm.
to those who win, you obviously have to do something special.
Hmm.
What 95% of people don't do.
Hmm.
You
But
cannot.
also, I think, like anything, right? I think a lot of people, it's like how you approach anything in the market. People will look, we've got the World Cup going on at the moment. People will look at professional footballers and they will say, that he was just one of the most talented, or she was just one of the most talented people to play the sport, right? Or this, they were lucky they got picked up by so and so, or they trained at Man United's academy. What people very quickly overlook is the amount of time these people spend mastering their craft, right? The hours they put in breaking their bodies, going the extra mile that people don't see, right? And I think there's a lot of similarities with that in trading. So people all wanted to be around for the bull run that missed the big moves, but now in the bear market, people just think that you can't trade, and it's just not true. Like, the whole point is, depending on the type of trader you are, you can use this time to learn how to build, right? Educate yourself, double down on your education, make sure you're prepared for when the next bull run comes in if you're an investor. And if you're a trader, if you want to make it in this space, you have to know how to trade both ways, right? So if that's something you're not confident doing, then give yourself the edge over others and learn how to do that, right? Spend this time learning and making yourself better prepared for when you move on. And I think, I was going to say, in terms of wrapping this up, I wanted a golden bit of information from you for our viewers. But to be honest, I think it would be a real struggle to top that, right? As Muro says, people that are in this space now, be patient. Take your time, learn, expand your mind, right? Really prepare yourself for what's coming. Don't rush into the charts. Don't throw away your money. Capital preservation, managing your drawdowns is a massive part of trading as well, right? So make sure that you're educating yourself. Make sure that you're taking in loads of alpha. You're following really, really good people like Muro, the Nest, and you're learning about this space, right? And then when the time comes round, you're prepared and you're ready to go. Never ever stop investing in yourself and your own education, right? I think that's a really important takeaway.
Yeah. So, um, guys, I shared my my idea for Bitcoin like 2 weeks ago.
Hmm.
We have this main downtrend, this obvious one, right? And
Hmm.
we didn't retest. We didn't retest. I mean, we did retest it here
Hmm.
after. broke out. Yeah, but sure, we can do it again.
Hmm.
So we have also lost this trend line, as you said, right? So
Hmm.
this one. So in a real bearish case, I'm not saying it has to happen, but in a bearish case, it would be this week probably if it happens.
Hmm.
Then we should drop like
Hmm.
maybe we could drop to 12K. It
But
can
there's a
happen.
lot of confluence, right, in that area. If you're looking at the like 11.5 to 12,500 region, if you're drawing that back on a weekly chart, you're looking at one of the last kind of key consolidation points in
Mhm.
that big run, right, in the really, really big bull run that we had. So I think when you start piecing bits together like that and you're starting to get to similar numbers, then again, of course, it's not saying it has to happen, right? But there's enough confluence there to make you aware of it, right? To monitor it and to make sure that you're ready and alert if price does do that.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to happen. I would be totally fine if it does not, if it just
Hmm.
goes up from here. But to me, this was not like a capitulation, the classic capitulation event that we know.
Yeah, the elevator candles. Yeah,
Yeah, that makes everyone quit and give up. And yeah,
and that's it. And then you see them all try and buy again towards the top. It's one of the natures of trading that I've always found really interesting is how kind of counterintuitive it is. You know, like they always say, you know, buy low, sell high, and you know the idea that you want to buy when others are selling and sell when others are buying. I think one of the difficult things sometimes with trading is that you have to have such conviction in what you're doing because quite often you know it looks like the market is heading in the other direction, right? So you've got to be willing, you've got to be ready, you've got to be nimble, you've got to be able to know where your targets are and know what you're going to do when you get there to react. And well, I mean, to be honest, it's very, very difficult, buddy, to say how many good takeaways there's been from this. It's been a huge pleasure for me to speak to you one on one. Someone I've got a lot of admiration and respect for in the space, and yeah, someone who you know, it really has been a joy to have you on there, sharing your views on the market, your opinions, giving us that beautiful insight to your family, who you are, what you've gone through as a father, not just a trader, and. I hope this is the beginning of something beautiful for all of our viewers, for everyone. And I think if you really want to take away, you want to look at an inspiration, not just as a trader, as a person, as a father, as a family man, then you can't really do much better than this guy. So, Muro, my brother, I am very conscious of your time, the time of our viewers, and I just can't thank you enough for coming on. I look forward to seeing you out there and around. And just a huge, huge thank you, my friend, for coming on and giving up your time to share with everyone. Really, really do appreciate it.
you are welcome. It was a pleasure for me too.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. I'll be in touch after this. We'll get all your details out to everyone. Guys, make sure you're following Muro. We're going to share all the details across on there. Get you hooked up with his YouTube channel, which sounds like he's got some insanely good new content coming
Yeah.
into it. My friend, love and blessings to your family, your son, everyone. Wishing you all the best for the season ahead. And I look forward to catching you out there on the track.
Thank you. Same for you, my friend.
Take care,
Thank
my man. Peace. Guys, what could we possibly say about that? That was just insane. What a top guy. What a lovely, lovely man. Just what an exceptional trader. Please do follow Muro. Okay, you can find the details down in this on the chat. If not, come into the chat room, come and tag us up, and we'll get you all hooked up. Thank you very much for stopping by. Going to jump on a stream in a moment with Trader D, Trader Dank, the legend. We're going to carry on this awesome alpha that we've taken from Muro. We're going to put that into some range trading situations, and we're going to catch you over there in a moment. Thank you all so much. I will see you in a couple of minutes.